I liked the episode. Liked how everyone was in like their own little groups going around the castle and stuff.
I really like the different direction they went into. Instead of focusing on one or two ponies or the main six as a whole, instead they kind of jump between different perspectives, and that's something I don't think they've done yet in this show.
There are certain characters in the show that just have awesome, like, comedic chemistry, you know? And my Apple Dash prejudice aside, Applejack and Rainbow Dash do actually have some really good comedic chemistry.
I'm glad the Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Apple Dash, I'm glad the rivalry still continues on. The whole thing kind of just dropped after Fall Weather Friends, and it didn't necessarily have to. I mean, there were the occasional times of Rainbow Dash acting like a jerk and Applejack reining her in just to keep her grounded, like sometimes literally. But this whole rivalry thing isn't the exact same thing as that. So if this were to also maybe go on in the background in an episode or two, I would be perfectly fine with that.
My favorite comedic chemistry duo has got to be, though, Applejack and Rarity, just because, you know, they're such opposites and stuff, and like the
AJ and Rainbow Dash, their group there, they get scared quite a bit, and it's fucking hilarious. Rarity and Fluttershy, they get scared a little bit too, but it's mostly due to them finding secret doors and pitfall traps and stuff like that, and Angel running off like a little bastard. But
Fluttershy's still a scaredy cat. That's not really a part of her character that's going to go away, so it seems. And right now, I can't really recall the last time I saw that, other than in the season 4 premiere. A lot lately, I think Fluttershy has been getting thrusted into situations where she has to take charge. So to have an episode where she's completely spooked out like how she normally would be is kind of refreshing. It's a bit jarring actually too, just because it's been so long since we've had that. So it's like on one hand I'm kind of off-putted by it just because it's been so long. On the other hand, I completely welcome it.
Castlemania. Okay, like compare it to what others like, you know, Lesson Zero, Too Many Pinkie Pies, and Ticketmaster. You know, this one was a really weak one. I guess because the characters really felt like very season 1-ish. We got AJ and Rainbow Dash, you know, going at each other, trying to prove who's the better one at whatever little contest they can think of. And Twilight was being an egghead, keeping her head in the book, not paying attention to what was going on, not paying attention to what Spike was saying, and, you know, she wasn't caring what he was feeling. Felt very much, you know, oh, I don't need friends.
She practically just spits on Spike's worries and fears without, you know, trying to comfort him. Because, I mean, he's just a kid. I'm not sure exactly how old Spike is, if I had to guess. Maybe a few years older than the Cutie Mark Crusaders. But Spike's just a kid. You can see he was genuinely scared. And Twilight's just like, no, gotta read books. Because books are more important than my surrogate brother. Or in some cases in the fandom, surrogate son. Which, you know, I always used to like that because it's like, oh man, you know, it's kind of cool. But the way her and Spike have been interacting since Spike Get Your Service On, Twilight just doesn't seem to give too much of fucks about him anymore. I mean, okay, that's too severe. That's too severe, I admit. My problem with Twilight is that she just seems so condescending and acting like she knows everything in this episode. She's done this shit before. You know, like C feeling Pinky King, for instance. See, there's 3 kinds of Twilights. There's 3. There's paranoid, shy Twilight, you know, see episodes like Lesson Zero, Best Night Ever, and the sleepover episode from season 1, whatever that's called. There's adorable Twilight, where she's got that naive kind of innocence about her because she's trying to learn stuff. But of course, you know, as time went on, she eventually kind of had to drop that because she was learning stuff. And then there's this one. There's cynical, I know everything Twilight. I mean, at this point, I think Twilight really just seems to care about most her studies, Celestia, and her own volition. And what I mean by that, basically, is as long as she's right, and as long as everything's gonna be fine, she doesn't. That was a terrible scene. She doesn't really care what happens. I mean, she's like, you know, oh my god, there could be a shadow pony. But then she's like, oh my gosh, I knew it wasn't real all along. And it's like, you know, there's a film critic. He passed away in 1999, I believe. His name was Gene Siskel. People might have heard of him if you watched Siskel and Ebert at the movies, or if you watch Nostalgia Critic, because he fucking's a fanboy of those two. But whenever Gene Siskel would interview someone, he would always ask the question, "What do you know for sure?" or something like that. And that question kind of stuck with me for a bit, because in reality, in life, what do we know for sure? I mean, yeah, we could say we have knowledge from things we learned, life experiences, which is true. Or we could say something we've read in books, which is kind of sort of true. But if it's pretty much your own thoughts, or if you're just going off your own theories, that's all it is a theory. You don't know for sure. Twilight honestly can't say for 100% that she knew for a fact there was no such thing as a shadow pony for 3 reasons. 1, because she's just going off her own thoughts. 2, because she wasn't reading about any of the books, so there's that. And 3, she lives in a magical world full of magical horses. And she's a scientist with wings and a horn and a pet dragon. Hello!
And even Pinkie Pie in this. Usually I like Pinkie Pie, but in this one, she felt very much like Season 1 Pinkie Pie. Because, I'm gonna be honest here, Season 1 Pinkie Pie annoyed the hell out of me. But then, of course, Season 2 came rolling around, and I thought, okay, well, now she's not that bad. She's not annoying. She doesn't do it to get on people's nerves or to make them angry or have them do things. She's just being Pinkie Pie. But in here, it was just felt off. Something about it just was like, Pinkie, seriously, what the hell?
Okay, I know that Pinkie is like the gag character, but I hope I'm phrasing this correctly, but I think that she's lost subtlety. Does it make sense that I think her randomness is a bit too random lately? Just in these 2-3 episodes she's been in so far? I mean, she had her moments in other seasons, but I just feel it's gotten a bit less subtle, more just like random outburst of thing that doesn't make sense, and you just go with it because it's Pinkie Pie. I don't think the whole just go for because it's Pinkie Pie mantra is gonna last if it's not even funny, because I laughed at other stuff in the episodes. I've laughed at Pinkie Pie before, and as you can see, I didn't find any of this funny, and that sucks. I hope it changes, but I can't fake laugh. Either I feel that the general direction of her character has changed from, say, seasons 1 and 2, or maybe it actually hasn't changed at all, and now it's kind of getting grating. And I don't want that, but that's what I think. And I don't really know what else to say about it.
Pinkie, I used to not like Pinkie so much. I mean, not that I dislike any of them, but Pinkie used to be like right down there at the bottom, like, Pinkie's Pinkie. And now, every time Pinkie's on screen, she's just so freaking adorable. And she's always doing something so nutty. Yes, Tesla. Yes, it's not dinner time yet. Go away. This dog has been bothering me all weekend. Yeah, Pinkie. Oh, yes, hello. Hi. Pinkie. What was that? I was talking about Pinkie. Yeah, she's just really funny and really adorable, and I love her. In fact, if she played Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
I don't know, just something about all the characters felt very, very off in this episode. But other than that, I guess the upsides to it really were just seeing the ruins of the castle itself.
It was pretty cool to see like some of the different things like the organ and the different tapestries, and especially the pony armor. That pony armor looked pretty awesome.
Is that like really old Royal Guard wear? Is that standard wear for Luna's part of the Royal Guard or Celeste's part, like day and night, or what? I'm kind of interested to find out more about that.
I thought, this episode is kind of like a Halloween episode because you know how it is. The pipe organ, then the Pony of Shadows, and, haunted castle ruins.
A lot of the atmosphere, the dark corridors, the organs playing, the cobwebs. It's really nice. I don't know, just something about that is just perfect Halloween.
This episode actually did something that the other 3 seasons did not do, and that was episode 3 related off of episodes 1 and 2. All 3 of the other seasons did not do this. they had episodes 1 and 2 have a shared story, and then episode 3 would be its entirely different story. Not this one. This one actually related to it in a very important manner, because Twilight was trying to figure out what the hell that thing was for that she found. And they even went back to the same setting of which our episode 1 and 2 actually went at, so it was important. Sadly, though, she doesn't learn anything from going back there, which sucks, but then again, if she found it already, then this will be a really short-ass season.
And also, I kind of would have hoped this episode would have given us more Luna and Celestia background, but this was okay. We actually get little glimpses from their past that they also have their own child or fillyhood, which adds for their characters. And I actually hope that in future episodes we are going to see more Luna and Celestia in future episodes.
Although, that's a pretty obvious foreshadowing, no pun intended, with that shadowy silhouette at the end with the yellow eyes.
The Pony of Shadow thing, I kind of would have liked to see a little bit more of that and maybe more develop into its history or whatever.
Apparently there may be a shadow pony after all, because there was something stalking some of them when they were wandering around. I wonder when we're going to get that into part, or when that's going to play a part.
I know it's more likely that they'll go the route of the Shadow Pony just being left as is, just as a whole cliffhanger thing about, ooh, what if she really was the one doing all of the... It's just, I think that would be too easy to leave it off like that. I would just like, for once, just once, for that kind of thing to actually come up later on and not just be left in some sort of cliffhanger forever. Who knows, maybe this Shadow Pony thing could be a real Season 4 villain later on. I'm hoping that happens, basically.
For the other seasons and stuff, whenever there was a character that was, under a mask or in a dark setting where you couldn't tell who it was until they did something, you could see, their hoof color or whatever, so you could take a guess at who it is. When I looked at it earlier, the hoof color of the pony playing the piano, or the orchestra, or whatever the hell the thing was, it was cyan colored. So I was like, Trixie or something like that, but the only other character I can think of who could possibly be there would be the other member of the main six, which would be Pinkie, because I already knew that her ringing that school bell would not take very long, so when it ended up being Pinkie, I was just like, oh, god damn it.
The Pinkie Pie thingy was really obvious, but still okay, and I like the idea that now they are replacing the letters with writing a diary, which, again, is rather a nice idea, and we actually now have a reason to write something, so even though it doesn't go to Celestia.
In a way, they're still doing what they did with letters to Celestia, except that instead of sending the letters to Celestia, they are pretty much, in a way, just giving it to Twilight or Twilight's book, and they store it there. I think it's actually a really nice idea, because it makes sense according to how this episode worked, was that, things were easier to deal with for Twilight because she realized how bad things were beforehand.
I didn't really give a crap when they took away the whole "you don't have to send me letters at the end of every episode" week thing. I thought, it's cool, but I just feels like it takes away from the story, because when she has to send those letters like that, it focuses the whole episode around on the moral of the story that it's trying to portray, whereas around Season 2, which I think is why I like it better, is because it's just flat-out storytelling with the occasional lesson thrown in that isn't shoehorned, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I think Season 2 worked so well. It wasn't so much of a focus on learning about friendship as much as it was... Season 2 was just basically life lessons, That's basically what it is. Season 1 was friendship, Season 2 was life, Season 3 was kind of just living, and now Season 4 is diaries. But yeah, those were my main problems with the episode. They're minor, but it was a good episode. I hope the other reactors enjoyed it. I hope it doesn't seem like I didn't enjoy it, because, I did.
But yeah, I guess overall this episode was pretty boring. I'm sorry to say, this one was not really all that fun, aside from my love for gothic horror settings like the 1930s films and Scooby-Doo references.
I guess that is kind of the reason why the episode was leaked because it was so overhyped, probably even much like the premiere of the season 4. I think many bronies might at first really hate this episode because this wasn't the kind of episode we all were led to believe, but I actually, in my opinion, I really found it really entertaining and funny, and it was also really great to see that Twilight hasn't really like moved to Canterlot fully, that she still stays in Ponyville, at least for now.
Maybe this season's entire premise is Twilight figuring out how to open the thing, and then making it open, and then whatever the hell is inside, whether it be a good or a bad thing, the season would end with them getting whatever's inside of it in the best way possible. So if it's something good that they get from it, then it ends with that. And if it ends poorly, or if something bad's inside the thing for whatever reason, then this season would end with them dealing with whatever the heck the problem was that was inside.
I like the whole thing a lot better than the season 4 premiere, only because in the season 4 premiere, it really seemed like everything was kind of, you could tell they were trying to tell a story, but it really just seemed like there was, I don't know, the story didn't sit that well for me. But this one was cool because I like it when shows do episodes like this. Just day in the life type episodes, you know? And it worked out, I thought it worked out well.
At first it looked like it was going to be about continuing the story of the previous one, because Twilight saw word like, I gotta find out information about this magic box. But then it quickly turned into a freaking, like, Laugh-a-Palooza with the other 4, like, just traipsing about Haunted Castle Land, being nutty, and that was a lot of fun.
Just a silly little fun episode. And I'm kind of glad that not everything is just some major epic adventure, and there's so many funny moments and so many well-delivered lines. Like, I could watch that over and over, and the timing of the slapstick and the comedic punchlines will just be enough to just keep coming back to it, because it's really funny.
Having Rarity around, just having Rarity be Rarity, basically. You know, I originally thought this was supposed to be a Rarity episode, just from the one, like, screenshot that I saw, and I was really hoping it would be, like, completely Rarity focused, and I'm glad with what we got, because it was still pretty Rarity focused, and we didn't have any of that in season 3. I hope we still have a completely Rarity focused episode somewhere in this season. That would be great. Rarity isn't my favorite character, but she's still probably my favorite character to watch. Like, just act, perform, just like the whole prima donna and all of that. And Tabitha St. Germain just does it so well. She's probably my favorite voice actor in the show, so anytime that any of her characters are around, I completely welcome it wholeheartedly. So, more Rarity, more Luna, more Granny Smith, more whoever Tabitha voices, I'm all for it. I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree, and a lot of voice actors already agree, that Tabitha is pretty much the best actor on the show. So I'm sure I don't have to worry about getting any flack for that.
They're all so adorable, and the animation is so good, and I just love it.
Also, like in the previous episodes, the animation was just great. I loved it, and I love the creepy castle. Actually, it was actually giving some really creepy stuff for the kids. I mean, if I was really young, and if I watched this episode, I probably would be a little bit scared, and the creepy, good old organ music just raises the atmosphere even more.
Okay, Josh Haber, the writer for this episode, he said that his inspiration for this episode came from Scooby-Doo, and I really see the comparison. I really get that. It came off really well to me. But because I've seen that kind of story before, I can't go best episode ever or anything like that, but I'll definitely give this episode a strong, solid 7 at least, because I have no complaints about the story formula that he went with, but I'm not gonna rate it higher just because it's another case of the whole it's a story you've seen before kind of deal that we've been going through a lot lately. It's like, as older fans, we kind of expect to be blown away like we have in the past by certain storylines, but sometimes there will just be times where there will be a story that you've seen before, and that's just how it is, because it's still a kid's show. It's not a bad thing, it's just that it's just hard to be really positive about it just because it's something that we've seen before, and I can't say there's a new spin on it either.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I mean, at the end of the day, it is still a kid's show, and I never judge the show like a kid's show. I just judge it like another cartoon, So I don't know, just my minor criticisms aside, episode's good.
It was a little slow on the first half, but I thought the second half was got pretty interesting. There were some funny moments and all, and yeah. And as for the overall, I enjoyed it. I for once enjoyed it.
This is a really good episode, I guarantee you that. I'm really looking forward to seeing next Saturday's episode. Wonder how that one's gonna be like.
Can't wait for the next episode because it's Daring Do! So that's gonna be cool.
Now we're going to have journal entries detailing the moral that they learned. So that's cool. Because we really didn't have many Dear Princess Celestias in Season 3. And like one of the only ones was, Dear Princess Celestia, today I learned not to overplan my family reunion. Which was silly and stupid.
That pretty much solves that problem in terms of getting a moral out there. This was a nice episode. I'm still waiting to see, because I know there's supposed to be a lot of songs this season. I'm wondering, when the song's going to come up. That'll be exciting. All the remixes.
And also, I was one of the bronies that didn't watch the lead episode. I actually waited until the official release day, so in your face, who didn't wait to see this episode? Sorry about that. But anyway, and this is so far pretty much the funniest episode of the season 4. Even though it's only the 3rd episode, so I can't really say if this was the funniest, so I'm still waiting for the other episodes.
So yeah, I have no problems with the writer, or the episode, or anything. If he comes back, I'll be glad to have him back. I hope he can make it out to any of the panels or cons, because I really like to watch all that stuff. So it would be nice to get a closer, his take on the show in general. I really like hearing everyone's thoughts on the episodes, cast and fans alike, which is why I'm doing this.
I'm really excited to see just what's in store ahead.
Anyway, I guess that was Castlemania. Very enjoyable episode.
I have to get back to my real job. Reviewing metal albums. Have a good day.
I thank y'all for watching, and I hope to see you guys with me and these other folks here on episode 4.
So until then, everybody, have a good night.
Hopefully you guys are safe from the Black Friday, and everybody have a thankful Thanksgiving even though it's late.
Thank you, and good night.
I gotta go feed this dog now.
See ya, bronies. And check out some of my rescore videos if you want to. You don't have to watch it, but whatever.
Dare any pony ever dare another pony to dare! Huh? It's exciting!
I gotta change my pants.